Rumours FC, monitoring FC, watching FC, but are Manchester United finally about to bring Ruben Amorim some much needed signings? Because information has come out now to say Manchester United have made a bid for Goncalo and Inacio, loan with obligation to buy £34 million, which is quite a good price when you think about it. The squad for Arsenal has been confirmed. No Marcus Rashford is his move away from United seems to be getting closer. Manchester United privately regret the Zirkzee deal. Diego Leon has actually been spotted, photographed, and interviewed on his way to his Manchester United medical. We'll talk about what he and his agent have to say about that. Super exciting stuff. Nypan blow, Kvarat's Helia latest, United's new plans for Kobe, Mainoo, and more. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news roundup, where we're going to round up all the news that's come out today in the next 10 minutes, starting with this breaking story about an Inacio bid. Now, we spoke about Inacio earlier on my video earlier, saying that Dortmund and Man United are currently evaluating signing Goncalo and Inacio. Now, that came out this morning, but what's come out just now from Portugal is that United have offered a loan plus a 34 million obligation to buy for Goncalo and Inacio. His agent was in England to hold talks with the club, so apparently United have made a bid. Now, we'll have to wait and see if Romano or Ornstein or some more journalists get on this, but this is quite interesting information because all window we've been rumoured to someone, linked to someone, want to sell someone, want to buy someone, but we haven't actually done anything. It's really frustrating to be 11 days into the window and we haven't made a move for anyone, especially a left wing back. Inacio is not a left wing back. We need a left wing back or a forward. They're the two priorities to me. We haven't moved. We haven't done anything. We PSR this, PSR that. But all of a sudden, apparently, we're going to make a bid for Inacio and we'll pay 34 million for him in the summer. Now, we do need a left centre back, and there is an opportunity to get Inacio for 34 million. So maybe United are acting on that now. But it wouldn't have been my priority signing. But I do think that's quite a good price. I like Inacio. I think he's a good player. But I think he's similar to Martinez. And someone commented in my last video that you've obviously not watched him if you think he's similar to Martinez. But he is similar to Martinez. There's obviously differences. They're not the same player. But his strengths, being on the ball, playing out from the back, Martinez's strengths, that they have that in common. They're both not the most physical players. And I think Inacio is better at defending the wide channels, but I still think there's better options out there. Inacio for £34 million. We need a left-sided defender. He knows Amorim's system. I'm not going to say no to it. I'm not going to say no, but if I had 34 million to spend, it'd be going on a left wing back. If we could get Kirkes, I would do that first. For me, forward and left wing back's the priority. But I've always said this. For me, Shocker has 58 million this summer. Cunha could be 45 million if they get relegated. A midfielder like Baliba, a left wing back like Kirkes, and then I'm looking at a left centre back. My options would be Luca Bar, Schlotterbeck before him. Hincapie, I think, is quite a natural defending the wide channels as well. Hatter with Ajax is another one that could be quite cheap. But Goncalo and Inacio does know Ruben Amorim's system. And if Ruben Amorim wants him and believes he can do it in the Premier League, then we back Ruben Amorim on that. If that's because we were looking at him in the summer before Ruben Amorim came in, United do like him. But I do think off the ball, he has similar weaknesses to Martinez. But I do think he's slightly better at defending the wide channels. But I do think there's a lot of similarities there. Whereas I was hoping that if we bring in a left centre-back, it would be someone that's a bit more comfortable off the ball and at defending the wide channels. I do apologise if we've got some lag coming in there as well. I don't know why it's lagging. But let's go into the next bit of news. Let's get into the next bit of information. But I'm going to quickly refresh my feed every few seconds, by the way, in case we get more on the Goncalo and Inacio situation. So stay tuned because I think more could come out. But the squad to face Arsenal's been released. Anana, Baindir is apparently confirmed to be playing that game. Delo, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Yoro, Maguire, Martinez at the back, Malacia, Mainoo, Agate, Casemiro, Collier, Fernandez, Ericsson, Anthony, Garnacho, Zirkzee, Højlund, Ahmed. So no Marcus Rashford in the squad for the game. It looks like he's gone. We're going to get into that news in a second. I think we might see Zirkzee, Ahmed, Bruno front three, Mainoo and Agate in the pivot, Delo left wing back, Mazraoui right wing back. I think we see Yoro right centre back, De Ligt central centre back, Martinez left centre back potentially for that game if I had to predict the lineup. But I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow where we talk about the lineup in more detail. I want to get into a few more stories. I'm going to start with the Rashford news, and then I'm going to go back into that news on Joshua Zirkzee, because we've just been talking about Rashford not being in the squad, so I think it's a little bit more relevant. But the news on Marcus Rashford is coming from multiple sources. So Romana said that Rashford is open to understand the situation of Barcelona. We know that Rashford wants Barcelona. We know he'd say yes to Barcelona. Can Barcelona afford it? That's the different question. Barcelona like Rashford. Rashford likes Barcelona. Romana has confirmed that. Let's see what happens. No swap deal between Napoli and United for Kvaratskhelia has been spoken about as of today. Kvaratskhelia is obviously was said earlier by Conte. I tried to convince Kvaratskhelia to stay, but he's decided to try a new chapter. We know that Kvaratskhelia will be sold for about £58 million to £63 million this January. PSG advancing on that. It looks like PSG are going to get him. But so it doesn't look like there's going to be a swap involving Rashford and Kvaratskhelia. It looks like Rashford is AC Milan or Barcelona bound, because Gazzetta is saying that Rashford is getting closer to AC Milan and Manchester United are ready to accept a straight loan deal. It looks like United just want Rashford gone now. I don't know what's gone on between him and Amorim, but it's gone from we're only accept permanent deals or loans or obligations to buy to wanting Rashford out all means. It is a Sancho 2.0 situation. I think there's something more going on with Rashford. I don't think we're going to get Kvaratskhelia. I think he's the perfect Rashford replacement because he's better in the pockets than Rashford and Garnacho to suit Amorim's system, but I don't think we're going to get him. But I do think Rashford's going to go to AC Milan or Barcelona. It was said by Dean Jones that United could become an option to permanent deal for a fee of £35 million for Rashford as INEOS look to solve their financial issues and begin the process of rebuilding the squad. A lot of sources said that United are looking for between 35 to £50 million for Rashford. Plus, I guess they say 15 million a year-ish in wages as well, which is looking like what United want to do. Anyway, going back to that, Kvaratskhelia looks like he'll leave Napoli. Now, I quickly want to touch upon this Joshua Zirkzee news, and I'm going to say this. Joshua Zirkzee, Marcus Rashford all look to leave United in 2025. There's also rumours of Garnacho leaving. Okay? We've got to clear out the squad. If Amorim doesn't think they're good enough, get rid of them. But the fact that Anthony could still be here because nobody wants him and outlive all these attackers is crazy. We need to sell Anthony. But anyway, Joshua Zirkzee to Manchester United hasn't really gone to plan, and there is a feeling inside Manchester United that it was a mistake. Interestingly, Dan Ashworth they sacked. Dan Ashworth approved every signing but De Ligt and Zirkzee. Dan Ashworth had question marks around De Ligt and Zirkzee. That was reported. So the man they've sacked is the man that said didn't approve the two signings they've got the most question marks around, particularly the one Zirkzee. Interesting. Ornstein said this: it's very early days and the story focuses on him and his intentions. Despite a lot of interest reportedly building from elsewhere, Juventus, Joshua Zirkzee doesn't intend to leave at this time of recording, and things can change. So David Ornstein is saying that basically Joshua Zirkzee wants to try it until the end of the season at United, see if he can turn it around under Ruben Amorim. He knows things haven't gone his way. United are open to selling Zirkzee. I think they see it as a mistake, and Juventus is interested, but Zirkzee wants to wait until the summer. Fair enough. I'd like Zirkzee to turn it around. I like the profile of player Zirkzee is. He's got similar profile to Cunha and João Pedro, but he's just not as mobile as them. And I think in the Premier League, you need that mobility. Now, one player that United were linked to a lot in summer and Ten Hag was a big fan of was Nypan. But it's now been said that United are no longer in the race to sign Nypan, but Arsenal are interested. Now, the reason United are not in the race for Nypan, despite having interest in him, is because INEOS have decided to prioritise players that are going to make an impact now rather than players for the future, because they know that the squad needs an impact now. If we're in a much better position, someone like Nypan could come in and be one for the future. But because we're in a bit of a bad position, United have thought, actually, we're going to go for experienced players, which makes sense. I like Nypan. I'd like him at Manchester United, but it's not the end of the world because I'd rather that money go on players with a bit more experience. So let's talk about Diego Leon, who's on his way for his United medical. Diego Leon at the airport, ready to travel to Manchester, spotted with his agent. It was said by his representative that now we're going to Manchester for the medical and to sign the contract. The idea is that he will be present for the club next season. So good to see that Diego Leon is now on a flight to Manchester to get everything sorted. Diego Leon was then actually asked about his move to United. This is the first time he's properly spoken out publicly about it and said it was just a dream and now I'm going to know everything. I'm going for checkups. I'll be back on Tuesday. I've already started studying English. Diego Leon cannot wait to get sorted in Manchester United. And then last but not least, oh no, we've got one more thing. Last but not least, Manchester United will now try to push to extend Kobbie Mainoo's contract. There was talk of Mainoo being sold, but that was only if a massive bid came in and all means necessary for PSR. United do not have plans to sell Kobbie Mainoo. They want to give him a new deal, and there's confidence behind the scenes that a new deal will be sorted. And then my last point is Euro has to start for me. Euro starting versus Arsenal is a must for me. What he did when he came on versus Liverpool, stopping Darwin Núñez, what he's done in that big game against Arsenal. I like Lenny Euro. I'm a big fan of him. His mobility in a big game like this is important. For me, Lenny Euro has to start. But big up everybody. Thank you so much for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.